はい、皆さんこんばんは。私はマネック証券のハチこと岡本平八郎です。今回、グローバル X といいますアメリカの ETF のですね、運用会社のロハン・レディさんが来日されましてお会いする機会がございました。ということで、グローバル X のテーマ型 ETF についてお話をお伺いしましたので、その様子とですね、あとグローバル X の ETF について紹介をしてみたいと思います。Hello, Rohan. Welcome to Japan.
Hi, great to be here.
Can you please tell us a little bit about your company?
Yes. So my company is Global X ETFs. We are a $40 billion asset manager based in New York City, and we're very well known for our thematic suite of ETFs that we offer, as well as our income strategies that we offer at the firm. And together we offer around 100 ETFs in the United States, and we've also expanded quite aggressively globally into different markets around the world, including in Japan.
It's been a tough year, very tough year for stock market investors this year. Can you please share your thought on the U.S. economic outlook next year and for the U.S. stock market based on the economic outlook?
Yes, we believe that obviously it's been a little bit of a challenge within the markets right now. But we think that in the long term, especially over the next year or so, that we're going to see a recovery in the markets after the period that's been a little bit challenging. When that happens is a little bit up in the air. So the challenge has mostly been around the Federal Reserve increasing interest rates. And so it seems that they may stop raising rates in Q1 of next year or early Q2. So we think that's going to be the real catalyst to eventually get the market to start to recover from here. In terms of economic data, it has been obviously slowing down a little bit just because the U.S. economy especially was very strong in prior years, but now the numbers are getting a little bit softer. So it's clear we're in late cycle dynamics, but we do believe that for stock market investors, this could be a really good time to enter into the market, especially with valuations where they are.
You know, it's $1 million questions and no one knows the answer, but I ask you anyway. You think we have seen the bottom for the market?
I do think over the next few months it's going to be a little bit challenging in the markets because we still see that the Federal Reserve and other central banks are raising interest rates. So that has been a problem for most stocks globally, including those that are higher growth in nature, like technology names in particular. So next few months we envision will be a little bit challenging, especially through year end, but we do believe that there is going to be a recovery at some point earlier in 2023.
So you think it's becoming a great time to start making investment in U.S. stock markets?
Yes, for a few reasons. The first is, at least for now, the earnings numbers have been very strong. And they have obviously been tapering off a little bit in the last few quarters, but the earnings numbers are positive at least. And so that has been a catalyst that at least I think is helping the market stay a little bit more balanced in their view. So valuations, which is the second part of the discussion here, valuations have become very attractive. And so, you know, when you think about the S&P 500, for example, trading at 24, 25 times earnings a couple of years ago when markets were peaking out. Now those valuations are, you know, even lower, and so multiples look much better in like the 16, 17 times range.
So Rohan, you have an income strategy for us. Can you please talk about that?
Yes, we offer a few areas within our firm within the income strategy lineup that we have. So a few that are top of mind, so covered calls have done very well. These are basically writing call options on major indexes like the NASDAQ 100, S&P 500. And then we also have another range that are more focused on high dividend paying stocks. These, for example, we have ticker SDIV, ticker DIV in the United States. These are focused on higher yielding stocks globally and also in the U.S. So a lot of times these strategies will yield 7, 8, 9%, so well above what you're typically getting in dividend-paying stocks.
Global X has a variety of interesting ETFs. Can you please explain to us how we can construct a portfolio for long-term investment using your ETFs?
Sure, it's a very good question. And so a lot of times investors, when they look at their portfolios, they think of traditional stocks and bonds. We offer different types of strategies on the income side. Ours tend to be a little bit more higher yielding, as I was mentioning, often like 7, 8, 9% in some categories. So our portfolio allocations are often, 10, 15% of what investors are looking to allocate as a whole. And so because we're offering different types of strategies, both on the thematic side and then also the income side, we've seen investors carve out portions of their traditional allocations and move those into some of our offerings that either offer higher growth potential, like those in thematic stocks, and on the income side, those that might be higher yielding compared to what's in their portfolio.
So you have 5 ETFs that you want to highlight for us?
Yes, there's a few ETFs we really like in this market environment right now. The first one we want to talk about is ticker BUG. It's a cybersecurity ETF. BUG, yes. And so what this fund is doing is it's offering exposure to global cybersecurity stocks. So most of the portfolio is in the United States and then also Israel as well, which has become a big cybersecurity center. And in this environment right now, when there's a heightened focus on cybersecurity just because of the Russia-Ukraine war and more businesses spending on additional cybersecurity solutions, we found a lot of investors have now been gravitating towards those stocks. The second ETF we want to talk about is ticker DRIV, Drive.
Drive,
and
as in drive.
Yes, as in drive. So this is the autonomous and electric vehicles ETF. And as the name indicates, it's allocating towards stocks within the autonomous and electric vehicle segment of the market. And we've seen that there's been a lot of interest in this just because more electric vehicles are being sold and autonomous technologies are being adopted. So we found investors really like these solutions that offer them long-term growth potential. The third ETF we want to highlight is ticker LIT, LIT. And so this is investing in lithium stocks and also battery technology stocks as well. So a lot of the companies within this fund are lithium miners, so those exploring for lithium, and then also those involved in battery technology. A notable name would be Tesla, for example. So we found just because a lot of investors are looking at the electric vehicle segment of the market, more vehicles that are sold globally today are of the electric variety, and the main input on the battery side is lithium-ion batteries. And so there's been a heightened focus on the lithium segment of the market for this reason. The next ETF we want to talk about is ticker XYLD, and this is an S&P 500 covered call strategy. So what we're doing here is we're writing 1 month at-the-money call options on the S&P 500. And the reason this has become so attractive to investors is because the yield is much higher than what you're getting in typical funds. So the yield is around 12 to 14%, well above what you're getting in most other income-oriented solutions. And it's somewhat defensive in the market because you can still be invested within S&P 500 stocks, but you have this buffer slightly of the premium from the options contract that's being sold. So a lot of investors find this attractive as an income strategy.
The dividend yield is very attractive. Having said that, what would you say what the risk might be?
Yeah, I think the main risk within a covered call strategy like XYLD would be extreme moves in the market. So if you see the market go up a lot or down a lot, there's only so much that a fund like XYLD can do. For example, if the market were to go up 30%, you would have capped upside because these call options are written at the money. So you're giving up all the equity upside, but you're continuing to collect premiums. So there is going to be some market lag in that case. And consequently, also on the downside, if the market were to go down 30%, for example, you would only be buffered to the extent of the options premiums received. So I would say the best environment to use this kind of fund is one right now, for example, where markets have been choppy. That's the best environment, and even a scenario where you could potentially even outperform the underlying reference index, in this case the S&P 500, just because markets tend to gyrate and move a little bit. And the last one is ticker PFFD. So this is our preferred stock offering, and we Find this very attractive for investors because right now, in a moment where interest rates have been rising, that's obviously been a little bit of a challenge for duration-oriented fixed income solutions. But as we were talking about before, if the Federal Reserve starts to cap their level of interest rate hikes and we don't start to see more hikes going forward, a duration-oriented fund like PFFD, for example, might outperform in that scenario when the market starts to see that interest rates will either fall or bond yields will fall from there too. So it could be a good environment to enter into ticker PFFD as an income solution.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks very much for having me.
Pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet you as well.
はい、グローバル X の ETF についてちょっとこの後にいくつか簡単にご説明したいと思うんですけど、はい、こちらはティッカーシンボルが LIT、グローバル X リチウム&バッテリーテック ETF ということで、クリーンテクノロジー関連の投資をしている ETF ということですね。で、ベンチマークの方が、ソラクティブグローバルリチウムインデックスということになっていまして、この ETF39 銘柄を保有しています。こちらの方に組入れ上位の銘柄出てますけれども、例えばアルバメール、特殊価格のメーカーですけども、売上の 40% がリチウム関係となっていまして、2番目に保有されている SQM、これはチリの会社ですけども、アメリカ ADR として上場してますが、こちらもやはりリチウム関連の銘柄であると。あと、ナンバー3の銘柄として、イブエネジーっていうのが入ってます。ティッカーシンボル ES ですけど、これはアメリカの東部のエリアの電力会社ということなんですが、やはりクリーンエネルギーのところで、評価されて、こちらの方のETF に採用されているということなんです。で、こちらの方は年初から 19.2% の下げと、S&P500 はこの間 15.5% の下げなので、S&P500 には負けてますけど、ナスダック 27.5% よりもいいというパフォーマンスです。配当金は若干払われてます。今年いろんな銘柄が下がってきているので、こういう ETF も長期的な視点で見ると魅力的なものが割安になってきているので、クリーンエネルギー、リチウム、バッテリー、そういった技術に対しての投資が興味あるということで、個別銘柄のリスクは取りたくないっていう方にとっては、非常に魅力的な ETF だと思いますので、トータルポートフォリオの一部として検討されるのはいいと思います。長期的な視点でということで。ティッカーシンボルが BUG、これはグローバル X サイバーセキュリティ ETF ということで、ベンチマークはインデックス、サイバーセキュリティインデックスというのがありますけど、この BUG っていうのは、バグ、虫っていう意味ですけど、コンピューターの誤作動とかですね、故障、日本語でもバグって言いますよね。そこにかけてるやつです。このサイバーセキュリティというのはグローバルな課題ではあるわけなんですが、そのテーマの ETF ということで、例えば、上位、組入れ銘柄1番見てみると、パロアルトとか、あとチェックポイントとかですね、クラウドストライキ、こういったところも入ってます。年初からのパフォーマンスですけれども、グローバルセキュリティのパフォーマンスは、マイナス 26.8% ということです。年初から。なので、ナスダックにほぼ近い、ナスダック100にほぼ近いパフォーマンスとなっています。で、これも息の長いテーマだと思いますんで、個別銘柄のリスクは取りたくない、サイバーセキュリティ関連の銘柄のエクスポージャーを持ちたいっていう方にとってはいい ETF だと思います。次に、ティッカーが DRIV。これはグローバル X の自動運転 &EV ETF ということで、ベンチマークの方は、アクティブオトノマスエレクトロニックビークルインデックスということで、EV 関連、クリーンテクノロジー関連の銘柄が入っていまして、上位10銘柄を見てみると、例えばテスラがトップに入ってますし、アップルも入ってます。これは、アップルの将来的にその自動運転の車を2025年でしたっけね、発表するんではないかと見られてますけど、その辺を読んでのことだと思います。あとアルファベットなんかも入ってますし、クアルコムも入ってるし、あと NVIDIA だったりトヨタなんかも入ってますということになっています。テスラもいいんだけどちょっと怖いねっていう方は、この EV 車の トータルのエクスポージャーを一つの ETF で持つということなので、検討に値する一つではないかなと思います。パフォーマンスの方ですけれども、年初からは 25%、ナスダックの方が 27% ですから、ナスダック並みに下がっている、売られているけれども、これも長期的な視点で見ると、魅力的な ETF なんだというふうに思います。長い間皆さんどうもご清聴ありがとうございました。